when I spotted Daniel Smith and another woman exiting the restaurant. I was selecting gold jewelry for our wedding with Mrs. Smith. Through the glass window, we watched Dan naturally take the girl's coat while she smiled gratefully. He hurried ahead to hold the door open for her as they left. Polite gestures without physical contact or lingering gazes. Yet some primal pre-wedding intuition instantly identified May Carter. Mrs. Smith noticed my stiffening posture but offered no explanations. After a weighted silence, she pressed a heavy gold locket into my palm. The intricate filigree piece with fortune engraved glinted between our hands. "Jane," she said, her cultured voice unusually strained. "Let's add this to your collection. I only want the best for you and Dan." The sales associate misinterpreted the moment, gushing about the locket symbolizing locked-in blessings and prosperity. My attention stayed fixed on the restaurant across the promenade where Dan and May had disappeared. He never glanced our way, too absorbed in whatever joke his former college sweetheart was sharing. By nightfall, Dan's embrace felt different. The crisp bookstore rain scent I'd always loved on him had vanished beneath restaurant odors. Work dinner ran late, he murmured into my hair. When I asked where they'd eaten, his muscles tensed against me. Mrs. Smith's golden bribe weighed heavily on my dresser as I unpacked. The saleswoman's cheerful voice echoed in memory. "This locket ensures your marriage stays protected." I traced the cold metal filigree, wondering how many secrets its intricate patterns could hide. That's precisely why he could get away with such a flimsy excuse. He just didn't anticipate I'd actually press the matter today. A Cantonese place. Decent enough. "I'll take you there next time." Dan chuckled, swiftly changing the subject. "So, did you finish picking everything out?" He meant the gold jewelry selection that should have been our joint task as engaged partners. But Dan had claimed academic conference obligations, leaving Mrs. Smith to accompany me instead. Nodding, I carefully produced several velvet-lined boxes. Ms. Miller and I chose these at Ocean Sky Center. "What do you think?" I emphasized the mall's name, deliberately the same building where he dined with May hours earlier. A flicker of tension crossed Dan's face as he inspected the necklaces. "These are nice. The designs suit you." I tilted my head. "Since when does gold come in different colors?" "Professor Smith?" He froze momentarily before slapping his own cheek with forced humor. "God, I'm exhausted. Talking nonsense again." The jewelry clattered back onto the table as he brushed a kiss against my forehead. "I'm hitting the shower. Don't wait up." The bathroom door clicked shut behind him, as water drummed against tiles. My gaze swept through the living room entryway console. Coffee table. Display shelves. Nothing. Nowhere. His phone had vanished. Only one possibility remained. I stared at the steam-clouded bathroom door. The man who religiously kept electronics away from moisture had taken his precious device into a fog chamber. The realization made me snort at my own absurdity. "Get a grip, Jane." After tidying the study, I scrolled through social media in bed. 3 swipes down, my thumb halted at a conference group photo Dan had liked. The post came from Mike, his former lab mate turned postdoc colleague. "So lucky to meet brilliant minds at today's symposium." Read the caption beneath 7 smiling academics. My fingertip trembled as I expanded the comments. Mike had added, "Shout out to our gorgeous new faculty hire. Wishing Dr. Carter endless publications and grant money." The screen blurred as I zoomed into the photo. Among unfamiliar faces, one woman stood out, ash-brown curls framing a radiant smile, her right hand casually resting on Dan's shoulder. Only 2 females appeared in the shot, the other being middle-aged. The new faculty hire could only be the woman who'd exited the restaurant with my fiancé hours earlier. How serendipitous. I tapped the like button, placing my profile picture directly below Dan's. As the screen went dark, bitter amusement twisted my lips. Oh, but I knew exactly who May was. Her name first appeared last year on Dan's birthday. while photographing him with his cake. I'd glimpsed a notification on his unlocked phone, "Happy birthday, Professor Smith." May. The message itself meant nothing. The heart eye emoji following it? That I'd never forgotten. Contact May Carter, frowny face, "Happy birthday. Sorry to bother you." Back then, Dan and I had only been together for 2 months. People in the honeymoon phase tend to speak without filters. I asked teasingly with a smile, "May, the name itself suggests beauty. She remembers your birthday but uses such cautious wording. An ex-girlfriend? Perhaps?" I thought it was just playful banter. To my surprise, Dan fell silent. After a long pause, he rasped, "Yes." My hands that had been eagerly raised to celebrate his birthday slowly dropped. I didn't want to be that jealous girlfriend. Yet inexplicable hurt made tears stream down uncontrollably. The exquisite Western-style dinner went mostly untouched. All I remember is Dan frantically embracing me later, unlocking his phone for inspection while explaining every detail about his past with May. Looking back, I'm grateful we'd booked a private dining room, at least my meltdown stayed hidden. According to Dan, they met as undergrads through shared classes and lab sessions. Feelings developed during junior year. Both families approved, frequently dining together. But after graduation, their long-distance PhD pursuits in the same field gradually eroded the relationship. May, needing constant emotional connection, couldn't endure it and initiated the breakup. Dan grieved until learning she'd moved on. Then did too. I knew someone of Dan's caliber would have admirers. Though devastated, I tried rationalizing, no grounds for anger here. Their college romance ended naturally, sweet memories followed by mature separation. No lingering attachments. No secret reunions. Their last chat dated to 2 years post-graduation. Lives diverging completely since. When I asked why keep her contact, Dan pondered, failed relationships still shape who we are. We parted amicably, without that experience. I might not have become someone you'd love. Seeing my reddened eyes, he added, I'll delete her now if you want. You're my only priority, Jane. His scholar's logic disarmed me. Ultimately, I stopped him from removing May, afraid harsh severance might breed nostalgia. After all, I understood how the living can't compete with ghosts of the past. Lying awake now, I mock my past naivety. That moment of hesitation perhaps sealed our fate long ago. Dan emerged from the bathroom surprised to find me awake. Jane, I thought you'd be exhausted. I nodded then shook my head. Tired? Yes. Sleep? Impossible. He leaned down, fingers brushing my hair, a gesture I once adored because his eyes mirrored my blissful reflection. Turning away, I whispered, why choose me over fellow scholars who share your world? This mismatch puzzled many. As a top-tier photographer, I'm deemed unrefined compared to his academic prestige. I'm emotional, whimsical, drawn to the fantastical. Our meet cute at a gallery, him captivated by my exhibit. Me enchanted by his focused gaze, seemed rom-com material. Friends see us as dimensional opposites. Yet we share this insatiable curiosity. For life. For love. For the inexplicable forces that drew a methodical researcher to a free-spirited artist. And vice versa. Dan's thumb wiped my tear. You're my counterbalance. Your lens reveals truths my equations can't compute. His kiss tasted like unsaid promises. Home isn't where they speak your language, Jane. It's where they learn your dialect. The analog clock hummed. Somewhere. May Carter's contact slept untouched in his phone. Here. Dan Smith's heartbeat synced with mine, two discordant rhythms finding harmony through friction. Even now, with my decision firmly made, I still wondered how he'd respond to my question. When I posed it, Dan smiled. Jane, I didn't realize you'd get cold feet before the wedding. I stayed silent, tacitly confirming his assumption while urging him to continue. Dan took his time before answering. I disagree. While most people think shared professions create common ground, I find someone from a completely different field, like you, far more fascinating. You bring me fresh stories and perspectives that relieve my work stress. Plus, his tone turned theatrically conspiratorial. Imagine dating another academic? Endless shop talk? Horrifying. Honestly, Jane, after mandatory conferences, I can't wait to escape my colleagues. He kept talking while I remained wordless. When the silence stretched, he leaned closer. Tired? Let me. I turned abruptly, meeting his eyes. Was having dinner with May today another mandatory work event? The air froze. After several heartbeats, Dan's voice sharpened. Jane, were you following me? His reaction startled me, twisting familiar features into something alien. Classic Dan, fixating on self-invented accusations instead of substance. Throwing off the covers, I sat up. Auntie Smith's recommended jewelry store is in Haitian Center too. You know she's your mother's shopping buddy. Understanding dawned, followed by nervous tension. Sorry. I forgot about the store. He trailed off awkwardly, realizing the apology missed its mark. I sighed without pressing further. We'd once shared everything, cosmic theories, political debates, grocery lists. Now our silence spoke volumes. As I slid out of bed, Dan grabbed my wrist. Where are you going? His question held duty, not warmth. He didn't resist when I pulled free. Just sleeping in the study. We're adults, no dramatic exits needed. But we need space before this turns ugly. His gaze darkened, but he didn't object. At the bedroom threshold, his voice stopped me. May joined H University's faculty. We're colleagues now, maybe friends. But Jane, you're my partner. Only you. His explanation cracked my composure. How convenient. I laughed bitterly. Academic chit-chat with your wife terrifies you. So you befriend May while marrying me? Such meticulous planning. Professor Smith. Slamming the door, I left. Surprisingly, venting helped me sleep soundly in the study. Next morning, Dan had already left. His note in the kitchen read, Jane, breakfast in the microwave. Oceanographic research expedition, back in 3 weeks. As if nothing happened. Noted. I muttered, tossing the note, ordering fresh pancakes. I felt lighter. Some battles weren't worth fighting twice. After finishing dinner, it suddenly occurred to me that next Tuesday would be Mrs. Smith's birthday. Perhaps this was why Dan had been avoiding confronting our issues. The golden child who'd excelled academically and professionally since childhood had grown accustomed to maintaining his perfect facade for his parents, naturally unwilling to let our relationship troubles affect his family. Though Dan wouldn't be home for his mother's birthday. As his fiancée, I felt obligated to extend greetings on his behalf. Over several days, I carefully selected appropriate gifts and arrived at the Smith residence the afternoon before the birthday. Regardless of Dan's behavior, his parents had always treated me kindly. I wanted to personally explain our situation before the celebration. The Smiths lived only 20 minutes away. Approaching their front door, I was surprised to hear laughter inside. The retired couple usually preferred quiet evenings with few visitors. My knock silenced the conversation. Mrs. Smith answered, her expression freezing when she saw me. Jane? Normally warm and welcoming. Mrs. Smith now stood blocking the doorway. I raised my gift bags. I brought some birthday gifts. Mrs. Smith. Is this a bad time? My eyes drifted past her shoulder. Before she could respond, a bright feminine voice called out, Who's there? Aunt Linda? May Carter appeared behind Mrs. Smith, her smile vanishing when our eyes met. 3 women stood frozen in the cramped foyer until Mr. Smith broke the tension. Jane, come in. Come in. Mrs. Smith hurried to take my bags. You shouldn't have. Dear. Let me get you some slippers. My usual pink house shoes, a thoughtful gesture the Smiths had provided for their future daughter-in-law, currently adorned May's feet like silent rejection. Mrs. Smith followed my gaze. Jane. This is, Dan's colleague came to visit, her voice trailed off awkwardly. It's all right. I forced a smile. I'll just leave these. My presence had already shattered whatever pleasant dynamic they'd been enjoying. As I turned to leave, Mrs. Smith grabbed my hand. Don't be silly. Your family. The words hung uncomfortably between us. In that moment, I realized how thoroughly Dan had inherited his mother's talent for evasive pleasantries. Placing my gifts on the coffee table, I maintained composure. Thank you both for your kindness over the years. These are for your birthday tomorrow. I gestured to a red velvet bag. The cashmere shawl inside should keep you warm during your morning walks. The jade bracelet matches your favorite brooch. And the silk scarf, my voice caught slightly, matches the blue dress you wore during our first family dinner. May studied her hands while the Smiths exchanged pained glances. The unspoken truth about our tangled relationships vibrated in the air. If no one else would address the elephant in the room, it fell to me. Here are the gold accessories you bought me last week. The packaging and receipt are all here. I'm returning them now. I hope you'll understand, even the finest lock can't secure a heart that's already flown away. Mrs. Smith froze. What do you mean? She clearly hadn't anticipated this. The reason should be obvious. I lowered my gaze. If my explanation isn't sufficient, perhaps Dan could clarify it for you. From the corner of my eye, I noticed May clenching her fists. I hadn't addressed her directly throughout this encounter. Mrs. Smith took several shaky breaths. Her complexion ashen. Must you do this, Jane? I smiled politely. Yes. This was my purpose for visiting today. Besides, my gaze swept across the gilded living room. It seems the gifts I'm returning might be exactly what someone else here desires. After nodding farewell, I walked out without waiting for their reactions. Our engagement had been modest due to Dan's busy research schedule, making this disentanglement mercifully simple. News of our broken engagement spread quickly. I moved out before Dan returned from his maritime expedition, cataloged every borrowed item into a spreadsheet sent to his email, then blocked him. When Mrs. Smith called a week later, likely counting on my reluctance to confront elders, her voice dripped with contrition. Jane, I'm truly sorry. You're such a remarkable young woman. As someone who's loved deeply myself, I understand your pain. The day May visited was pure coincidence. Your father admires her family. And as hosts, we couldn't turn away an old friend's daughter. Please don't misinterpret. I let the silence stretch until she continued. As for Dan, he's just sentimental like his father. Whatever happened with May is firmly in the past. The cultured woman skillfully reframed public scrutiny about the cancelled wedding into concern for my well-being. Or perhaps she was simply cleaning up her son's mess. Aunt, there's no need for further explanations. My voice softened. I bear no ill will toward you. The issue lies entirely with Dan. While he hasn't crossed physical boundaries yet, their professional collaborations will only multiply. I don't dwell on past relationships, I simply refuse to spend my future perpetually questioning my partner's loyalty. The line went quiet before ending with a resigned sigh. Our paths with the Smiths were now irrevocably severed. In the following weeks, my phone flooded with pleading messages from unknown numbers, all bearing Dan's distinctive phrasing. He'd even commandeered Mike's social media account. Jane, I never meant for that conference post to upset you. Come back. I'll fix everything. I checked Mike's profile. The offending yacht club photo with May was now deleted. How ironic, considering it had merely captured post-seminar reflections. I'd always believed Dan compartmentalized work and personal life. The illusion shattered. Through Mike's hijacked account, I replied, further contact will result in police intervention. then systematically blocked every unfamiliar number. My patience had expired. May appeared at my studio weeks later while I curated my next photo exhibition. My assistant hesitated. "There's a woman claiming to be your old friend." I found May studying my framed seascapes. "Hope you don't mind me using that title, Jane." Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Not at all. Given recent events, I felt I'd lived through her relationship with Dan by proxy. To observers, we might resemble estranged friends reuniting without pretense. After dismissing my assistant, I gestured to the sofa. "Speak plainly. You're overreacting," she said, pouring herself mineral water. "I regret breaking up with Dan, but never intended to steal him." My lips curved without warmth. How interesting. Our perspectives differ. In my opinion, when someone struggles with whether to do something, that itself means they should do it. May Carter smiled, first scanning the entire room before downing her glass of warm water in one gulp. Suddenly, she began reminiscing unprompted. "You know what? The Smith family were all wonderful people, except Dan. Even his parents helped me tremendously. When I went to the province for grad school, my own parents were overseas. Mrs. Smith packed my luggage, and Mr. Smith drove over 1,000 kilometers to drop me off." "I bet Dan never told you that. Did he?" "As for him, besides looking out for me during college, he pulled strings to help me secure this position at H University. Honestly, I was too immature back then. Shortly after breaking up with Dan, I regretted it. He's truly one of a kind. But I've got principles. When I returned and saw he was engaged to you, I had mixed feelings, truthfully. I only want to be friends now." May looked earnestly into my eyes, unsure of her intentions. I replied, "I'm not your personal sounding board. If you have unresolved feelings with your ex, consult a professional therapist." This seemed to provoke her. May's voice rose sharply. "Jane, can't you see? I came to explain that dinner with Dan was purely to thank him for helping my career. Visiting his parents was the same courtesy. Why can't you let go and stop this breakup? Do you have any idea how devastated he's been since you left? I've never seen him like this." I shrugged. "So you're feeling sorry for him now?" She froze mid-retort before snapping. "I thought you were smarter." "Clearly, we're not on the same wavelength." Rubbing my temples, I weighed my words. With Dan already in my past and May soon to be irrelevant, I needed closure. Moving beside her, I gazed at the artwork on the wall. MS. Carter. I couldn't share Dan's past, so I cherished our future. While he's remarkable, healthy relationships should bring peace and positivity. When doubt overshadows every thought, love becomes torment. As professionals, we both know emotional stability matters. I won't gamble my career over relationship anxiety. You say I shouldn't have left, maybe that's textbook correct. But everyone has different thresholds. You couldn't handle long distance yourself, why push a potentially unfaithful relationship on me? As an accomplished scholar, you should understand. What exactly do you gain from meddling? Could it be, since you can't have him, you settle for sabotaging others? The paper cup crumpled in May's grip. Her face paled then flushed, lips trembling soundlessly before she slammed the cup down and stormed out. My assistant hovered anxiously outside. "Professor Miller, should we bar her from future visits? Maybe alert security?" "Unnecessary." I shook my head. "She won't return." Later, Dan spiraled. His academic output plummeted, his hard-earned reputation crumbling. Though outsiders never learned the full story, May exposed everything: how he abused his position to hire her at H University, how he'd cultivated their affair while engaged in the cutthroat publish or perish environment. The scandal brought severe disciplinary action. 2 years later, overwhelmed, Dan resigned all academic posts. Reading the news before my newspaper interview. I felt numb. My theory proved true, emotional turmoil destroys careers. Only instead of me, Dan became the casualty. Memories of our early days. His vibrant ambition captivating me. Now felt surreal. A knock interrupted my thoughts. My assistant peeked in. "They're ready for you, Professor Miller." Smoothing my blazer. I stood. "Let's go."